Revealed. Why did Arsenal walk away from a deal to sign their favourite Aston Villa talisman? Arsenal were seriously interested in opening talks with Aston Villa to sign their top striker Ollie Watkins, but they walked out of a deal due to the difference in their valuation. It was touted that the Gunners offered £60 million as their opening bid, but sources later rectified that this sum was close to £40 million. Both clubs were still in talks, and speculations were rising that a deal could be reached anytime soon. However, Villa weren't happy with the timing of the bid. After selling Jhon Dhuran to Al Nassr, Unai Emery's side had no plans to let Watkins depart. They made it very clear that he remains a pivotal figure in their team. The player wasn't forcing a move either, which further complicated this transfer. They were ready to open talks if Arsenal spent £60 million for the 29-year-old. As the deadline day approached, these links started to fade away, and the Gunners soon pulled out of the race. It is no secret that they were targeting a number 9 in order to fill the void left by the injured players in their squad. But as manager Mikel Arteta previously mentioned, they're looking for only a certain type of player. Why did Arsenal pull the plug on Watkins' transfer? Watkins ticked all boxes in terms of on-field performances. Still, both Premier League rivals were far from deciding on a common valuation. Journalist David Ornstein was asked about why Arsenal chose not to make a move on the deadline day. Speaking to Athletic FC podcast, he said, "On Watkins, naturally these things are not easy when it gets to such a late point in the window. Clearly, Villa gave Arsenal the opportunity to do this deal or have a conversation on the basis of a £60 million possibility. That was something clearly Arsenal were not prepared to do at that value for a 29-year-old, who in their eyes is probably not worth that much. They decided to suggest around the £40 million mark. Villa were being serious when they suggested £60 million because that's where they value him, and if they need to make the numbers work, with PSR and whatever else, that's what they would have been prepared to have a conversation for. We don't know if it would have led to an offer being accepted, but the door was clearly opened at that level, and Arsenal weren't prepared to go there." Arteta also stated that he wasn't happy with a lack of results in the January transfer window. The club didn't get any of the short-listed targets and will have to make amends with the current options. The manager is ready to stay patient and wait for Bukayo Saka to return from his injury in March. That might help ease the burden of scoring goals, but Gabriel Jesus' injury has still left them exposed up front. Arsenal's pursuit of Aston Villa's talismanic striker, Ollie Watkins, during the January 2025 transfer window ultimately ended without a deal. Several factors contributed to Arsenal's decision to step away from negotiations, despite their pressing need for attacking reinforcements. Aston Villa's firm stance. Aston Villa was resolute in retaining Watkins, especially after the sale of Jhon Dhuran to Al Nassr. This departure heightened Villa's reliance on Watkins as their primary attacking option. Manager Unai Emery emphasized the importance of keeping key players to maintain the team's competitive edge in both domestic and European competitions. Consequently, Villa rejected Arsenal's £45 million bid for the striker. Financial constraints and strategic considerations. Arsenal faced financial limitations that influenced their transfer activities. The club was unwilling to meet Villa's £60 million valuation for Watkins, deeming it excessive. Additionally, the resignation of sporting director Edu disrupted Arsenal's recruitment strategy, complicating negotiations. Manager Mikel Arteta expressed his disappointment over the lack of new signings but remained firm on not making hasty or overpriced acquisitions. Market dynamics and timing. The timing of Arsenal's approach also played a role in the failed transfer. Initiating negotiations late in the window left limited time to reach an agreement. Villa's reluctance to part with a key player mid-season, combined with Arsenal's financial prudence, led to an impasse. Arteta acknowledged the challenges of the market and emphasized the importance of bringing in the right players under suitable conditions. Despite the setback, Arsenal is planning an unprecedented spending spree in the upcoming summer transfer window. The club has identified several targets, including Newcastle's Alexander Isak, Real Sociedad's Martin Zubimendi, and Red Bull Leipzig's Benjamin Sesko, to bolster their squad. Arteta remains optimistic about strengthening the team to achieve their ambitions in both the Premier League and European competitions. In conclusion, Arsenal's decision to walk away from the deal for Ollie Watkins was influenced by Aston Villa's unwillingness to sell, financial considerations, and the timing of negotiations. The club now looks forward to the summer window to make strategic acquisitions that align with their long-term objectives.